The Enlightenment Era, known as the Age of Reason, started from 1650 to 1850. It is an era that focuses on the potential of knowledge and reason to change. The Enlightenment philosophers adapt a new way of thinking among them, such as opposing the superstition, and in many cases, they tend to be anti-clerical. They embrace independent thought and new values, including an emphasis on science and logic, which found its way to the literary world. This video intends to discuss the emergence of secular ideology through works of fiction during the Enlightenment era as a result from the loss of faith in religion. It started from the event of 30 Years' War, which is one of the most devastating wars in European history that took place in the first half of the 17th century. Like many wars of its time period, the 30 Years' War had its root in politics and religion. Different groups of Christians were fighting each other, all in the name of Christ. Following the Protestant Reformation, which Martin Luther sparked in 1517, Protestants and Catholics were often at each other's throats. Religious tension between Calvinists, Lutherans, Catholics, and other factions ran rampant throughout 16th and 17th century Europe. Over time, the religious war shows impact on some Europeans to become disillusioned with established religion, and the influence of the church also became declined. Besides the loss of faith in religion, the interest in scientific study also ushered the emergence of secularism ideology. The new scientific approach by Copernicus, Galileo, and Newton, which developed a new concept of a universe based on natural laws and not a mysterious God, had promoted critical thinking. They stressed on the importance of individuals to understand the world around them by replacing the belief in miracles and superstition with the reliance on reason and the idea of rational thinking. Galileo, the central figure in the transition from natural philosophy to modern science, was one of the pioneers of observation and came up with his Galilean telescope. He was the first to see craters on the moon, discovered sunspots, and tracked the phases of Venus. These discoveries showed that the universe is operated by rules that could be explained through mathematics, and that the religious interpretation was not the sole means of comprehending the forces of nature. Writers such as David Hume and Immanuel Kant were primarily interested in teaching people how to think critically about everything, while writers such as Voltaire, Denis Diderot, and Daniel Defoe were the reformers who criticized the existing social, political, and economic structures in order to improve them. The ideas of secularism introduced by John Locke and Baruch Spinoza had been absorbed in the novel Moby Dick, written by Herman Melville in 1851. It contained the theme of secularism in the story. This novel talked about the transition of Christian belief to secular humanism as the power of God in Christianity had started to diminish in the 18th century.
We're specks, dust. We might also survive.
The Skeptic's Work, written by Denis Diderot, is written in 1747 but published in 1830. Diderot was first a deism believer that believed in the mere existence of God, but not his intervention with the creation. Upon the completion of the novel, he converted himself to atheism. This novel majorly critiqued on the religion and the Christian churches during that era. Another notable writer in the 18th century is Daniel Defoe, who wrote Robinson Crusoe, published in 1719. This book emphasized more on a man's capability of living by himself without the interference of a supreme power. It is clearly shown that the novels were used as a platform to the birth of secularism as a result of the loss of faith in religion and the interest in scientific studies. Through this medium, the idea of secularism has reached the society, hence forming the modern society who separate religion from their lives.